Welcome into another edition of the Pats Rap Podcast. I'm your host, Beach.com, Beethoven, whatever you want to call me. And I hope everybody's having a happy holiday season, man. Thanksgiving was amazing. Christmas is on the way, man. I hope you get everything that you wanted. I hope you got the kids everything that they wanted. Hope everybody's just having a really good time. It's a very important time to be around family, be happy, be grateful for the things that are happening in your life. So I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But let's get right into it, man. This is the Pats Rap Podcast. So we're going to talk about the Patriots. Tough loss against the Bills this past weekend. I mean, jumped up to a 21-0 lead. Everybody was feeling good. I know I was. I was like, oh, game over. Best team in the league. Best team in the AFC. Super Bowl, here we come, right? When the Bills scored at the end of the half, though, I was like, they get the ball back at half. They could easily, shorten this gap. But I still have faith that our team would, continue putting their foot on the gas and, get them boys out of there. But that didn't happen. Bills went on to score 5 straight touchdowns and mounted a 24-7 comeback in the second half to win 35-31 against your New England Patriots. We're still in the lead in the division. First overall seed might be a little bit harder to get, but we're still in the lead in the division. Even this upcoming game doesn't count too much as far as divisional race. It's going to come down to the last 2 games against Miami and the Jets to really solidify the division. So let's get into a little bit more about this loss, give y'all some of my personal thoughts on the loss. So we're going to start with the quarterback, like we always do. I think this is one of his worst games this year, especially during the winning streak. Definitely one of his more subpar games. It just didn't look right. It didn't look like things were functioning well. Even during the 21-0 run, we had to manufacture quarterback runs in order to score in the red zone. It was really the running game that was getting everything going. Drake May, he was doing okay in the first half, but really fell off a cliff in the second half. I mean, again, like I said, one of his worst games. I'm sorry, by the numbers and even the eye test when I'm watching, I'm like, this doesn't look like normal Drake, right? So he went 14 of 23 for 155 yards. So he didn't reach 200 yards for the first time this year. 0 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, which a lot of people were calling an arm punt. I hate that term. I think they made that shit up. Josh Allen did it like last year or 2 years ago, but no, it's a pick. It was an interception. It should have been pass interference. That's another story. But that was the only pick that he threw. He should have had another one that went right off of Poyer's face mask. But 0 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, 2 rushing touchdowns, and a passer rating of 62.8. So we've been accustomed to watching Drake May with these 100+ passer rating games, game after game after game. And he dropped all the way down to a 62.8 passer rating this game. He's still above 100% for the year, but or 100 passer rating for the year, but this game was one of his worst. I do like the new wrinkle with the quarterback design runs. I think they've been in there, but I think he's chosen to hand it off on the RPO. Excuse me. But this time he kept it, got the edge on the defender and ran into the end zone. Then the second rushing touchdown, I haven't seen the film, but a lot of people were looking at it and saying it looked like a design QB draw because the blockers were blocking downfield. But he took it right up the middle. So I like that Josh McDaniels added those wrinkles into the offense, the 2 new run plays that he did for the quarterback. He had another big run later in the game that was off a scramble, but shout out to Drake May using his legs to get us, keep us in the game. But inevitably, we know this team comes down to Drake May's throwing ability. And he was just off. He was spraying throws, high, low, behind. It just wasn't on point like he normally is. And some people may be attributing it to the weather. And I think it's a possibility because we experienced this in the Ravens game. It was kind of rainy and stuff, and he was off. And now it was kind of snow flurries a little bit at the beginning of this game, and he was off. So maybe he hasn't adjusted to playing football in inclement weather yet. He's going to have to because he plays in New England. A lot of teams that he plays are in cold areas. I mean, we're traveling to Baltimore this weekend. That's not going to be warm there either. So Drake May really has to get used to playing in inclement weather and being as accurate as he is in warm weather. Um, that's pretty much all I got on the quarterback though. Started off the game strong, ended terribly. Um, I don't want to put it all on him, but he's a quarterback. He gets all the praise when we do good, so he's got to get the blame when we do bad. Um, I want to go into the defense and the special teams next. The defense looks hurt and they look very undisciplined in this game. They allowed 168 rushing yards between Cook and Josh Allen and 2 rushing touchdowns. James Cook had 107 yards, 2 touchdowns on 22 attempts. Craziest thing about his 107 yards is that 101 of those 107 yards came after contact. So that goes into the lack of discipline from the Patriots. They were making contact, but they couldn't tackle him. And tackling was a problem the whole game. They were missing tackles left and right. Carlton Davis came on a corner blitz and had Josh Allen dead to rights and just slipped off him. Now, Josh Allen's a big guy. Carlton Davis isn't. So I can understand that, but you got to tackle the quarterback if you're coming on a corner blitz. That's the whole point of the corner blitz, So lack of discipline. They look tired. They look gassed in the second half because the offense wasn't maintaining the ball. So the defense was consistently out there on the field. Now we're injured. Robert Spillane was dressed but didn't play, obviously missing Milton Williams. So the defensive line, outside of Barmore was makeshift. You had Corey Durden coming in, Anthony Jennings. Obviously Landry and Chason still played, but they were getting absolutely no pressure in the second half. The Bills offensive line, which is really good, was just walling them up, right? Walling them up, no pressure. Josh Allen had all day to go back there and just rip the defense apart. So the defense, yeah, I hope they don't carry this into next week, and we'll discuss Ravens here shortly, but I hope they don't carry this same level of lack of discipline into next week. So we're gonna jump back to the office, or no, sorry, special teams. Only thing I want to say about the special teams was that I seen about 4 Bills kickoff returns that went plus 40 yards, plus 50. So Josh Allen's numbers weren't crazy because every time he got the ball, he was already on the plus side of the field, damn near. So special teams got to clean that up. Jeremy Springer and his unit has been doing great all year. I don't, they got Schooler back this week, and it seemed like they got worse. I don't know. Schooler's going to give you a penalty a game, but he's still an all-pro special teamer. And yeah, they got to clean that up because if you're giving teams short field, they're going to score. The defense isn't good enough to stop teams when they already have a short field. So they got to get that kick coverage down, keep them, not on the plus side of the field. Now back to the offense. I want to talk about the run game. The run game has been kind of a problem, but it seemed like the run game found some life during this game. Granted, Travion Henderson had 2 big plays, so that fluffs the numbers, but just based on watching the game, the run game was effective. Ramondre, especially, I know he didn't get that many touches, but Ramondre was getting 4, 5, 6 yards every run. It seemed like he only had like 6 carries, but I think he had like 50 plus yards. So the run game had found some life. Travion Henderson is now your new favorite to win Rookie of the Year. So we have Coach Vrabel, who's potentially going to win Coach of the Year. If it's not, I think it's a 3-man race between him, Sean Payton, and Mike McDonald from Seattle. But Vrabel could win Rookie of the Year. Travion Henderson is going to win, or Vrabel will win Coach of the Year. Travion Henderson could win Rookie of the Year, and Drake May is still in the MVP race, even though he's probably not going to win it. So that's a huge turnaround from last year for this team. But yeah, Travion Henderson is a new favorite, plus 90 over Abuka and Ted McMillan. Travion's got 143 carries, 773 total yards, and 7 touchdowns. Another thing in this game is he now ties Saquon Barkley and Chris Johnson for games with 50 plus touchdown runs. They all have 2 games, and they played, over 100 games between Saquon and Chris Johnson. Trayvon Henderson has only played the 14 games this season. He already has 2 games with multiple games with 2+ 50-yard touchdowns in that same game. So he's already on, all-star back trajectory. I don't think he's going to reach 1,000 yards this year just because of how we use him, but 773 yards on 143 carries is extremely impressive. And a lot of people had their doubts about him early in the year because it seemed like he was just running into the back of the lineman, not really making any moves or whatever. But once he gets out in space, that speed is on full display, man. He took that thing to the house. I think he said he got up to 21.5 miles per hour, and Drake was running right with him. He had got up to 20. So you want to keep Trevion in the game. You want to keep giving him the ball because at any given moment, he can take that thing to the house from anywhere on the field. So shout out Trevion Henderson. We're going to stay with the offense. I don't want to call the play calling questionable in the second half. The only thing I would say is that they probably should have ran more just to kill clock because that's how you kill a comeback. You don't want to keep giving the other team the ball. But I can understand why McDaniels would want to pass the ball because their pass defense, they were hurt. They were missing Benford. So I think in Josh McDaniels' mind, he has his MVP status quarterback. They can tear up this secondary and still chew up clock because they're going to be getting completions in the middle of the field and things of that nature. Kind of an extension, short passing game, extension of the running game, and really just eat them up the same way they would running. Because maybe he didn't quite trust the down by down running. I know obviously we could have that explosive play, but maybe he didn't trust them to get 4 or 5 yards and get first downs without passing. So he went pass heavy. And I mean Drake only had 23 attempts. So it's not like he dropped back 40 plus times, but Josh McDaniels is getting criticized because if everyone kind of feels like he probably should have ran the ball a little bit more. And I can agree with that, but I can also see the thought process behind it when you have an MVP caliber quarterback going up against a hurt secondary. You would think that that quarterback can execute those plays and the things. And I don't necessarily believe it was his play calling. I think it was the execution. I think Buffalo was running cover 2 man a lot. It was locking up the receivers off this line of scrimmage. People couldn't get separation. People couldn't get open. And that was the problem with this team is that you have a bunch of players who kind of have to be schemed open. Yes, Kayshon Boutte caught that pass down the sideline, but that's it. One catch, one target. You know what I'm saying? And then that could have been a drop if they challenged it. Pop Douglas saw the ball no times. Another game of Stephon Diggs having less than 30 yards. Hunter Henry's dropping passes. Mac Hollins had some good catches, but just we don't have the guys that can just get open outside of like who I mean, Pop Douglas, I think is a jitterbug. He could probably get open on his own, but we don't have the guys, the star receiver. This is where that number one star receiver comes in that can just get open and get you a play when you need it. And yes, Stephon Diggs has been that in his career, but he's currently not that. As well as he played the first time against Buffalo, we all knew that, he wasn't going to replicate that again. That's, as the season's going on, he's still coming off ACL injury. He might be slowing down a little bit. He might be banged up a little bit, but that's when, when you have a guy like Jamar Chase, CD Lamb, T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson, those guys, they will go get you a bucket anytime. Like if you need them, they're going to come up. If we just watched the Thursday game with the Rams and the Seahawks. Puka Nacua had like 170 yards because he's that guy. He's going to come up and make a play when it's needed. In overtime, he caught that touchdown. And you're like, how do you let this guy get open? But that's what great players do. They get open, they make plays, and they win games for you. And unfortunately, the Patriots just don't have that right now. And it's all on the quarterback to do so. And he just couldn't, get it done that game. So I think it was less about play calling and more about execution. Because if you look at that 4th down play that pretty much like ended the game for the Patriots, I think Josh McDaniels running, kind of a mesh concept. It was kind of like Hollins was kind of picking his player out of the play and Henry was supposed to come on a mesh, and I think Diggs was also supposed to come across. So a mesh concept basically. And Henry got jammed up over here. Stephon Diggs got jammed up over here and tried to dip back out. And that's why Drake May had to roll out. And that's when Bosa knocked the ball down. The play call itself was probably a decent play. I'm pretty sure they've done it before and have been successful, but the execution of it was dog shit. Like I watched it and I was like, this looks terrible. No one was open at all. It was just mumbo jumbo BS. Nobody could get open. And Diggs kind of like went back out, kind of zigged out and got back open, but who knows if Drake would have been able to put it on him. And then obviously Bosa knocked the ball down anyway, so game over. But I think they really need to get in the lab and evaluate who they are as a group. And Josh McDaniels has really got to get in his bag with scheming guys open with probably more pick plays or disguises or motions, rub routes, all those things. He's probably got to really, really scheme guys open more than he's had to against some of the, not as good teams, not as good defenses. Um, yeah, so that's all I got basically on the Bills game. Again, like I said, tough loss. Um, I don't really feel any differently about this team. I still feel like this team is well coached. Quarterback is great. Um, they could make a run because nobody in the AFC or the NFC is really just leaps and bounds better than everybody else. I think they just got some things they need to clean up, and the coaches really got to get in their bag with their schemes offensively and defensively. But I don't feel any different about this game. I don't feel any different about my quarterback. I'm not in panic mode because we lost. We're still 11-3, guys. So no need to go in panic mode. Personally, I don't feel like you need to go into panic mode. So let's look forward to the Ravens game. Sunday night football, prime time. The NFL flexed this game from being a 1 p.m. game to Sunday night football game. So I guess they see the importance and the relevance of this game. So shout out to the NFL for flexing that. I'm not used to having to wait all day to watch the Patriots play, but it is what it is. So yeah, the Pats are 6th in total offense again, which is another reason why I'm not calling for Josh McDaniels' head. I live in Texas, so I only really hear like Boston media by way of like YouTube, and sometimes I listen to like the radio shows, and all over the place it has been this Vrabel hate Josh McDaniel and his play calls. If Vrabel hates that Josh McDaniels has his team with the 6th overall total offense, then I don't know what Vrabel wants personally, but another story for another day. I'm not going to get into that. The Pats are the 6th total offense, versus the Ravens' 23rd ranked defense via ESPN. So another team that the Patriots should be able to score points on. And I don't think that the Ravens are good enough to get in a shootout with the Patriots if the Patriots put up 30 plus points like the Bills did. That's not to say that the Ravens don't have the talent to or the ability to. They just haven't really been doing it. And I know they blew out the Ravens, shut them out. I mean, the Bengals shut them out. But the Bengals aren't that good. Let's come clean. We beat the Bengals. Obviously, Joe Burrow wasn't playing, but we beat the Bengals, and then they blew their lead against the Bills just like we did. So the Bengals are kind of they're out of it. So I take that with a grain of salt. And then you got the Patriots, who are the 6th total defense against the Ravens' 20th ranked offense. So if the defense can stay disciplined, make their tackles, stay disciplined in their rush lanes, not going too far upfield, letting Lamar Jackson climb up in the pocket and escape. I think they'll be all right. Now, we might be down 2 corners. We might be down Carlton Davis and Marcus Jones. They both popped up on the injury report this week. I think they actually returned to practice today, but we will see. And I just got a notification to my phone that Robert Spillane is going to be out for Sunday. So there's that. But we might be down some corners. I think you just man up Christian Gonzalez on Zay Flowers and call it a day. But I could imagine that the Patriots are probably going to just run a lot of zone because Lamar Jackson can run. So you want people looking at the quarterback to make sure he doesn't kill you with his legs. But yeah, other than Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, those are the 3 keys on that Ravens offense that you got to stop. Now, Derrick Henry is more of a downfield power back, and I feel like James Cook was a little more elusive, even though he had huge gaps to run through. I'm not saying James Cook is better than Derrick Henry by no means. What I'm saying is maybe if the Patriots can clean up the fundamentals on tackling, maybe Derrick Henry might be a little easier to contain for the way the Patriots are built than a James Cook was. But you still got the threat of RPOs with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. That's scary. I said that when they first signed him. That is extremely scary. But I think the Patriots have the players to do it. Obviously, they're gonna miss Robert Spillane like a mud. They've been missing Milton Williams, but I trust that this coaching staff will get in the lab and see where they failed in the run game last week and fix those things. And hopefully, you know, keep the Ravens offense predictable or in passing situations where it's kind of more advantageous than them running because they're much better at running. They're the third ranked overall rushing offense. So obviously they're going to try to run the ball. Patriots need to stop it. Ravens pass defense though was bottom of the league. So there's, the same thing concept that I thought about going to the Bills game is throw on these guys. They got good corners, but I don't know why they're hurt. I think they're missing one of their corners. He might not play this week, but they got good secondary, so I don't really know why they're so bad at passing defense because they got good corners. They got Kyle Hamilton as a great safety. Um, I can't really put my finger on it why they're not a good passing defense, but they're not. So Patriots should try to exploit that, but don't abandon the run. Keep Travion Henderson in the game because he's always a threat for the big plays, and don't abandon the run against this team. But we'll see what Josh McDaniels, schemes up. I think first and foremost, it needs to be more touches for Pop Douglas and Kayshon Boutte. Personally, Pop Douglas has big playability. He has short, intermediate route ability. He's a jitterbug. He can get open on his own accord because he's quick, shifty, he's fast. Get Pop Douglas the ball more and get Kayshon Boutte the ball more. I mean, Kayshon Boutte catches everything, throw at him basically. So I know he's good for those, those sideline throws, but maybe get him some dig routes, some over routes, send him across the middle, maybe some curl routes, something quick, to get him the ball, get him going so that his only touches aren't just down the field fade routes. So I definitely think Pop and Boutte need to get the ball more. Obviously, I would love for Diggs to get involved. It's going to take much more to get him to that 1,000 yards because he's been on a skid these last 3 games. But I want to see more Pop, Boutte, and Diggs than Hunter Henry and Mac Hollins personally. And they've been great players for us. Don't get it wrong. I'm not mad, but I want to see these receivers get the ball and make plays. That's what I want to see. And they can do it. Let's just see if Josh McDaniels schemes it up and if Drake throws them the ball. And I think that's pretty much all I got on the Ravens game. The Ravens are favored, but I'm gonna take the Patriots. I'm a homer. Obviously, I don't think the Ravens can score with us. So I think that's why we'll win. Even if the defense falters, I think the Patriots can score with the best of them. And I think that might be what it comes down to. If the Patriots can try to contain Derrick Henry, that's the key to victory right there. Lamar is great, but I don't think Lamar is 100%. So I don't think you worrying about Lamar beating you as much as Derrick Henry beating you in this current juncture of the Ravens. Yeah, that's all I got on that. So just some quick hit thoughts around the league. We watched a Thursday night football game, Seattle versus the Rams. What a Thursday game, by the way. Thursday games usually suck, but that was a great game. It was really back and forth. Rams was really carving up that Seattle defense, who's really good. But I mean, that just goes to show why Matthew Stafford's probably going to win the MVP because it doesn't matter who he's playing, man. Him and Puka Nacua are just so in sync. It's insane. Every time you look up, Puka Nacua is catching something down the field, 50 yards, 40 yards, 30. Don't matter. Like, it's crazy. No look passes to him in the red zone. Like, it was crazy. The craziest thing about that game was the 2-point conversion, though. So basically, they ran like a quick screen, basically, and Sam Darnold threw the ball, but he threw it backwards, so it was kind of like a lateral, but a defender tipped it. So it would have been considered a fumble. The defender tipped it forward into the end zone, and a Seahawks player picked it up. I think it was the running back. That's a recovery in the end zone. So that is a 2-point conversion. It's a successful 2-point conversion. And the refs called it right. But it was crazy in real time because it just looks like a deflected pass, no go, right? But because the pass was backwards, that is a lateral. Basically, if the receiver would have caught it and ran it in, that's a rushing touchdown. It's not a pass. It's not a receiving touchdown because it was thrown backwards. But it got tipped into the end zone. Charbonnet comes, picks it up inside the end zone. That's a recovery. Successful 2-point conversion. Crazy. Never seen it before. But I think the refs got it right. But yeah, so Seattle beats the Rams in overtime. I don't think it affected Matthew Stafford's MVP odds because he still played amazing, but they're a wild card team now because Seattle leads that division, and I think Seattle is the number 1 overall seed in the NFC as well. So that puts the Rams down to a wild card team. They're obviously going to make the playoffs, but they now have to go on the road, throughout the course if the Seattle Seahawks stay the course. Yeah. Pardon me. But yeah, again, like I said, I don't think that affected Stafford's MVP odds at all. I think he's gonna win it. Kind of, he's playing out of his mind, but it's also kind of like a legacy award. No matter what seed they are, I think he's gonna win it. Denver more than likely locked up the number 1 seed with us losing. I think they widened the gap a little bit too much. They would have to pretty much lose out and us win out to get that number 1 seed because they've beaten mutual opponents, the Raiders. So I think they locked that up. But yeah, I mean, as long as the Patriots win the division, they still are going to have home playoff games. They're just not going to have that first round bye. So we'll see what happens down the stretch here. 3 more games to go. Denver's schedule's a little bit easier now because Mahomes got hurt. That was a toss-up game, against the Chiefs, but Mahomes got hurt, so it's probably a win for Denver. As a potential that they're not even starting their players in Week 18. A shakeup in the AFC East is the Dolphins, after coming off of their Monday night loss, are now benching Tua in lieu of Quinn Ewers, rookie quarterback from Texas. Look him. Shout out Quinn Ewers. That's my boy. I said it when they drafted him that Quinn was basically like a right-handed Tua. Like at Texas, Quinn threw a lot of short passes. Everything at Texas in that offense was kind of overly schemed by Steve Sarkisian. So I believe that Mike McDaniels don't really have to change the offense that much for Quinn. He's just going to have Quinn kind of point guarding the same way that Tua can. Now he's a rookie and he ain't seen much. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I can't wait to watch that game this weekend to kind of see what we're going into when we play the Dolphins the next week. I mean, I think we'll beat Quinn Ewers, but it's good to see Quinn getting his first start. He lapped Wilson, the ex-Jets quarterback that's there. Wilson has some words about Zach Wilson has some words about that, but nobody cares. Obviously, if you were better, you would start, but they went with Ewers instead, so that's a major shakeup in the AFC East because that might be Tua's last game as a Dolphin. They might cut him, they might trade him, whatever the case may be. So the Dolphins might look very differently next year. They might have a different coach, different quarterback, and Tyreek Hill might be gone. So we'll see how that goes. And then lastly, I don't want to be an asshole, but this Phillip Rivers shit is annoying. I've seen the positives where people are saying like he just got 5 more years of like the NFL insurance or whatever like that. Cool, amazing, got it. I don't want to see 44 can't even run Phillip Rivers playing football. I watched that game. Every throw that he had looked like it was the hardest thing he's ever done. There was one drop back where he dropped back and tried to like step back into his drop and just fell to the ground. Like, dude, like he had a big ass gut out there. Like, I'm glad they lost that game because Phillip Rivers winning a football game fresh out the couch is not good for the game, man. It amplifies the lack of quarterback development in the league that they had to go call Phillip Rivers off his couch and had him play football the same week. Crazy. Like, what does that say to the quarterbacks that are younger, sitting on their couch, or in the league on practice squads, or even on the Colts themselves? That 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, this is not like Brady. Like, Brady played into his 40s and was keeping himself in shape. Phillip Rivers had been retired for 5 years, is on the couch chilling, not playing no football, and almost won. He almost won, but that shit looked bad, man. And I don't think that's good for the league. I don't like it one bit. And I love Phillip Rivers as a player. He's from that golden era of quarterbacks for me. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. But that's all I got, man. Let's wrap this thing up with Music Minute. I don't really got nothing new for y'all today. 21 Savage album came out. I wasn't really messing with that for real. That Drake feature was garbage. Um, I some other little stuff came out, but nothing too much that's really done moved me for real. Like, I really be trying to find music, and nothing has really moved me. I mean, Tim's EP has been really good. That's been in a rotation, but other than that, get on YouTube. It's Christmas time. Get on YouTube. Look up LaFace Christmas album. Go jam Black people Christmas music, man. Go do that for the holiday season, man. Get some holiday cheer in your crib. Um, I want to add another segment to Music Minute though too. I kind of want you guys in the comments to start giving me some show suggestions. I want to start watching more TV shows, man. I just finished watching Welcome to Derry series. Amazing, man. I ain't seen nothing that good in a minute. So I kind of want to get back on my show shit. You know what I'm saying? Watching shows. I used to watch shows a lot all the time. I kind of fell off. So recommend me some shows, man, and I'm gonna watch them and report back to y'all personally. Whoever recommends me a show, I'm gonna watch it, and then when I get on here, I'll report back to you personally. You know, mention your name and thank you for your shout out. If it's a good show, I'm gonna shout you out. If it's a bad show, I'm gonna tell you it was trash and you wasted my time for real. But recommend me some shows, and it could be anime as well. I mean, if you look in the back, I obviously watch anime, so recommend me some good animes. I'm currently watching My Hero Academia and Gachi Akuta. Those are two I'm really watching right now. So recommend me some stuff, man. Hey, but that's gonna wrap this episode up. I'm your host, Beej, Beethoven, whatever you want to call me. It's the Patch Rap Podcast signing out.